Hi, today Tazama is in Laikipia County in Ilpolei Twala Cultural Women Group. And the dance that you have just witnessed is a cultural dance danced by the women here to welcome guests such as ourselves, Tazama. So, Rosemary, tell us a little bit about Twala.
Twala is a cultural village for the women. It's an umbrella of 6 women groups. We have Munipisha, Nosotwa, Melau, Munipisha and Aleppo, and Mejoli. They all come together and form Twala. And their main activities are baboon walk, beady walk, plant walk, cattle walk, and we are also beekeepers. We have 8 beehives.
How about these beautiful beads that I can see? Do you also do this?
Yes, we do beading for ourselves. As you all know, that in Maasai, all women know how to make beads. But Twala women can make quality product of beads because they are trained on that, and we have quality beads.
We have a lot in store for you, so have a look at our first story, then catch up with us at the fire making pit.
Any place in the house I feel should be filled by books. So this was mainly because of probably I was lucky enough to have grown in that system where I had access to books. I was a member of the National Library, Kenya National Library Services from a very young age.
South of Kisumu, the third largest city in Kenya, lies a beautiful island famous for having over 80 different bird species. The island is called Rusinga. Rusinga is a Bantu word derived from Lusinga, meaning island. Rusinga is home to about 50,000 people, with fishing and boat making as a major economic activity. Today, however, Tazama is set to explore one woman's effort to give residents access to a unique library.
Mode of transport in these parts of the country is the boat. The island is also disadvantaged in that we don't have libraries. We have one specific area where people could read, the community could get books. So the idea was to start a library that would use what the people were used to, and then it could also assist the neighboring islands. And that's how the idea of the floating library, if you like, aka the boat library, started.
Sufuria was founded by Mwiko. When making ugali, she only signed. She knew how to hold the ugali family so that Mwiko could use his muscle to turn it this way and that way.
We're trying to bring interesting ways of seeing education, and that's why the focus of the floating library is reading for pleasure, to open up their brains to the people, the children's brain, to something they can see beyond the classroom setup.
Kata, 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 kata usiogope. Kata. Maybe I'll repeat in English. Cut, cut, cut. Cut, don't be afraid to cut. There was a lot of work to do.
15-year-old Kevin is a student by day and a fisherman by night. Part of his income for fishing goes towards buying books, but at times it's just not enough. And it is during the location changes that he encounters the floating library and becomes a beneficiary.
I will come to fish kama night hivi, alafu tutaenda shule baadaye ya hiyo siku na kufish, alafu na nikipata pesa naenda kulipa kwa shule.
In the land of the kitchen,
the floating library currently has 100 storybooks and 50 magazines, with more donations coming from friends and family who want to improve education levels in this area. Moving forward, Anne has a great vision.
I'm looking at it at the angle of having a floating ferry library that will have an ICT center, and there will be internet, there will be computers. It will act also like a tourist attraction so that this way it will benefit the community in that the membership fee we will charge for tourists can go to the running cost of the library and also benefit the entire community.
Our experience reading the book, it is good.
I found it more exciting than reading in a chair outside, and I really enjoyed this storybook about Cocorico.
So, Rosemary, yes, I can see some men playing here a game. What game is this called?
This game is called ball game. It's normally played by the Maasai men, and during their leisure time. They assume stones to be cows, so the more you want many stones, the more richer you become. Actually, as they play, they also talk about special issues like livestock, livestock diseases that affect livestock and environment issues.
Okay.
Yes.
Habari zenyu? Sasa hii mchezo mnacheza ni wanaume peke yake au hata wanawake wanaweza cheza? Wanaume peke yake.
It's only played by elders when they are discussing the issue about how livestock and also they exchange news.
And how often do you play it?
Normally it's played when elders meet. They have a special issue to talk. They play the game and exchange news.
Okay, so as I continue to learn about the bow game, how about you hear what some people on the streets had to say about educating street kids?
Ningeonelea kwamba hao watoto wajengewe shule karibu na mitaa, mahali ambapo wamezoea, na hiyo shule iwe child friendly. Wajengewe shule ambayo iko na bathroom na toilet.
Si vinyada kama hapa hivi tu, kuna wenye wanaenda chuo na kuna wenye wanaenda course. Kama mimi mwenyewe kujiongelea kwangu, mimi naenda course yoyote yenye naweza pata. Na hao mabeste wangu kuna wenye wanaenda course na kuna wenye wanaenda chuo.
Most of these children come from parents, and some of the parents are aware of the people who neglect their children. As the government assists them, it is also important to get the mothers of some of these children.
Tunaomba kusaidiwa. Sasa tunapelekwa children's home, mwenye mtu ati anaweza teswa, anafanywa mateso. Lazima tukae kima brothers, kindugu.
Hawa street children ni watoto kama watoto wenye tuko nao majumbani, na serikali ningependelea iingilie kati kuwasaidia, kuwajengea mashule, hata ikiwezekana kuwajengea na manyumba penye wanaweza ishi, wapate masomo ili wawe kiangaza kipya katika jamii.
Wilfred here is teaching me how to make a fire the traditional way, the way they used to do it back in the days. So I'm told I'm supposed to press it down as such, but you can see I'm not having much luck with this. So am I doing it the right way?
Yeah, you are doing the right way.
Okay, so as you can see, I may need a little more training in this, but as we do that, let's take a quick commercial break and then join me for Town Talk. See you after this. Welcome back. We are now in Nanyuki town in Kirimara Springs Hotel. Join us after this story for our discussion.
Ningependa pia kubadilika maisha yetu yenyewe ya kuishi hapa state sipo.
Sasa maisha yetu ngumu,
ndio ni kukaa hivi, ndio inabidi sasa ndio tunachukia kukaa huku mtaani.
A recent UNICEF report estimates the street children numbers to have grown to about 100 million globally. In Kenya, there are about 300,000 street children and families. Mombasa alone harbors about 30,000, many of them harassing and pickpocketing unsuspecting city users in order to survive. Tazama found one unique project of getting them off the streets into a new digital world.
Dreamcatcher is a project that was started way back in 2010 with a group of youth from Denmark in collaboration with Wema Center. The whole idea was initially to start a computer class for the street children here in Mombasa. Our target is that 2 to 14, however, we have others that are above the age, up to 25 years of age, do access the bus. The bus Dreamcatcher first went to the street on the 14th of February. In the bus, we have 8 volunteers that we trained for 4 days and used them as volunteers to run the day-to-day teaching of the street children.
My name is Cecilia Natino. I'm a volunteer to Wema Center. As you can see, we have computers here where we mobilize the children first, then we bring them to the bus and we start teaching them about some 1, 2, 3 things about computers.
Cecilia Natino is a social worker, and Tazama is accompanying her and her colleagues to a mobilizing activity in the streets of Mombasa. This bus was refurbished and fitted with computers in 2010 with help from a group of youth from Denmark.
The first days in the street was not easy because most of the street kids, they are not, they go through hardships. So you don't expect them to be as cool as we are. They are somehow violent, they use some drugs, they sniff glue, so it is hard to approach them fast. Njoo ngwambie. Mbona mwakimbia lakini? Si tunatoka Wema. Hata wewe wafaa kuja. Mimi nataka tukifika pale kwa basi mtatupa.
After doing the mobilization, the children are taken off the streets into the bus, which moves with them and finally parked at a strategic place for the day's lesson.
First, we let them be comfortable. They sit down, and then you open the program for them. You ask them what they want to do. If they tell you, you put for them, and in the process you start taking their detail, like what is your name? They tell you their name. Where do you come from? They tell you, some will tell you that they come from around here, some will tell you that they are from Nakuru, Bungoma, Busia, Eldoret, and okay, you try and find out what happened.
Omar Salim.
Omar Salim. Most of the time, we don't expect them to tell us the truth because this is a stranger they are meeting, and then they are not free with you, so we don't expect them to tell us the truth. But whatever they tell us, we put it down. But tomorrow, if you come to ask them, they'll tell you, Madam, I told you I'm called John, but my name is not John, I'm David. Now you will record it again. The next day, they'll tell you, I'm not David, I'm Boy. That is my street name. You just keep on recording like that till finally they'll come and open up and tell you, Madam, now niko serious. My name is Solomon.
The bus can comfortably accommodate 9 children. It is fitted with a power generator to power up the computers.
So far we have managed, and okay, as they came, especially the younger kids, they really like it when they come and draw and paint and do all the funny things in the computer. They really like it. So when we tell them tomorrow we are coming, they'll call the other young kids and then they come together.
I spoke to some of the children in the bus on how this experience has changed their life.
unaona hii mambo ya IT na kompyuta inaweza kukusaidia pahali? Kivipi?
Yani inaweza nisaidia yani, kwa sababu hii life yenyewe ya hii life ya street si life nzuri, unaona. Hii life ya street si life nzuri, yani mambo kuvuta gamu haina mambo ya maendeleo.
The children normally spend about 3 hours in the bus, learning about computer games, typing skills and numbers among others. It's now time to return them to where they have been picked from. However, this time round, a happy and hope-packed group of children.
We intend to take them out of the streets to rehabilitation centers. We intend to take them back to school for formal learning. Those who will feel perhaps may not be able to get into proper formal learning, we may take them to vocational training.
What do you think of the story that we have just watched?
What the program is doing is employing a strategy of luring or the children themselves, something interesting. I like the social worker. There's that resilience, there's that patience, that today you fight the same boy, they go back to the street. Tomorrow, another name. The next day, another name. But you don't give up.
I'm a teacher, and I have a total of 36 of them. And if really you do not know that street children are usually very bright, because as they survive there in the street, they are used to using their brain on what to do so that they can get something to eat. If they are given that opportunity to get into the class, they really work and they really make it.
As much as these people are doing a fantastic job getting them into the bus and really exposing them to these digital things, I think we are almost missing a point, because we are heightening the expectations without really giving them a proper roadmap to the future.
Do you think that street kids also are accommodated within this free primary education?
To some extent, yes. We have seen the government coming in very swiftly, talking to the chiefs, talking to the head teachers, to the education department and the officers concerned, still leaning or clinging on the way forward of how the children are to be taken to the school.
The government has done quite well. To some extent, because opening up for these children through FPE, free primary education, I think it's giving them an opportunity so that they can become better persons in future. But on the other hand, it means that there is still more to be done, because these children, even if you bring them back to school, and then you don't have a program whereby there is a follow-up, because today they come to school, in the evening they go back there to the normal things that they do, then the other day and so on. These problems that made this child to be on the street will still haunt them.
The free primary program is really based on those children that are in the institutions. So if a child does not get to the institution, then the benefits may not accrue. Therefore, we really need a program where it also targets these children in the streets.
Whose responsibility is it to ensure that street children get an education?
Can we say that the responsibility, if I can say, it is the civil societies, it is the government, it is parents, it is the children themselves, boys and girls, women and men.
To some of them, it's a way of life. Some of them have voluntarily come to the street because of their own volition. Others have been forced by their parent so that they can go and try to earn something to bring them back to the family. So you can see, while we are trying to remove more children from the street, we are not breaking the source, the flow of children from the street.
I think that the street children are mostly chased away by their parents because of unwanted pregnancies and the introduction to drugs. I think that everything that they do is because of fear. They fear their parents a lot. So for a parent, I think the parent should love the child a lot and not to shower the child so much, not to spoil the child, because he or she can go to drugs and do other bad things that are not supposed to be done.
Some of you here are teachers and principals. How do one go about teaching and captivating the interest of street children who have not been to formal education systems and have very short attention spans?
Once you detect and come up with the problems and their interests, you capitalize on that. Then it becomes rather easier, and especially when they come. When they are on board, see their interest, see what they need, what can be done on them.
The first and foremost thing that should be done is to establish boarding facilities in specific schools, so that this kid is taken away from the street, he goes in that school and he is fully catered for. And then we have the counselors, and then we have people who will handle that street kid for some time. And then from there, either he can continue learning in that institution, or he can be boarding in that institution and going to another primary school.
As a community, what can we do to better the lives of these street children?
Yes. I'd like to give a way forward for the children who are in the streets, particularly for our county. We do know that there are bills that are being prepared in the county parliament, and one of the bills should be about the street children, so that we have a long-lasting solution.
In a small research that was done just here locally some times back, it showed that over 90% of these street children in Nanyuki have got at least one parent. And these parents are here. 60% of them come from Liki, a slum that is just nearby, others Majengo. And it's only that their parents are irresponsible and the law is not catching up with them. That's why their children are coming to the streets. I think it's time that the law is tightened and it also encompasses the parents.
We don't ask ourselves, when these children graduate, where do they go? We are talking about the crime. The crime rate is going on. It is not the work of the government. It is the work of the society to make sure that they eradicate these vices that are driving the children to the street. Because as the year goes, these children will be mature and there are some basic needs they will require, so they will use force.
So that is it for today's Town Talk. Now please let us know what it is that you can do to help the street children in your area. Huh? Here you go. Oh, here you go. Okay. Here you go. Okay. Now, the Maasai have traditionally used locally readily available materials such as cow dung to build their houses. Now, I would like to know, Rosemary, why do you use cow dung?
We use cow dung because traditionally construction of Maasai houses is done by women, and they just constructed it using the local available materials. That is the acacia tree on the walls and also the roofs, and they just smear using cow dung mixed with ashes, because after smearing the wall become very strong, so that's why they use the cow dung.
Okay, so that is it for today's show. As I continue to plaster this house with cow dung, please remember to like our page on Facebook, that is Tazama 6, and to follow us on Twitter, that is at Tazama 6. So until next time, see you then.